What is up? Welcome back to Softcore History. I am your host for the week, Rob Fox. As always, I am joined by Jake Goldman and Dan Regester.
How's it feel to be second, bro?
Symbolic for life. Always the second choice.
Are you the second child? Or are you the oldest?
I'm the oldest.
Okay.
That I know of.
That you never know what your dad was doing. Your dad's like Mario, just down to the pipes, banging princesses.
Not a plumber, though.
Sewer princesses.
Yeah.
A little less skilled.
Then a plumber?
No offense, Dad. He didn't go to trade school. He played baseball at a community college.
That's sick.
That's
It is.
cool.
JUCO baseball players are legit.
The Delaware Community College Phantoms, I believe.
That's a good name.
That is a good name. It's better than like the Cougars or something.
Yeah.
Tigers.
Tigers is a stupid
We used to be
one.
season ticket holders for the minor league hockey team in Philadelphia.
Oh, God. That had to be...
Also named the Phantoms.
That
That's
had to
good.
be just like I feel like I just
I
got.
saw the 98 Calder Cup. I was in a fucking Phantoms commercial.
How many people every game got stabbed by a broken bottle? It's got to be. I'm thinking like over under 9.5, double digits. We're not here to talk about your traumatic childhood hockey memories, or honestly maybe cherished childhood hockey
Honestly, one of the best moments of my life, that 98 Calder Cup.
It's like,
memories. What? You sound like a Canadian hillbilly.
yeah.
Like you just grew up an hour outside of fucking Calgary.
I was 7.
You know when like you go to a small town where people care about the high school football team?
It's
and
on
they
the
go,
water tower.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, no one outside of the city cares about this.
Right.
But it meant something to me, damn it.
Not
Back when it
really,
meant
'cause,
something.
I mean, the Soul won an AFL title. Nobody blinked. It's the big three, and I'm honestly not. It's
do you mean
football's
three?
one. Football's one.
Right.
Always.
You trying to flip flop between baseball and basketball?
Yeah, because like
Between what is likely
I mean, if
and
the Flyers win the Stanley Cup, it's kind of a big deal. But a lot of I would say
yeah, you're in the fucking Northeast.
but I would say it's a lot of bandwagon fans.
I bandwagon the Blues in 2019. It happens. I'm a casual, and then the
Like
play.
there's plenty of hockey fans, but I don't think they go outside of their arena when it comes to other sports. Like if somebody that's a Flyers fan in Philadelphia is probably not a Sixers fan.
It's such a grim existence to be an NHL first fan. Like you're kind of a lunatic. If you're hockey first,
Now,
you're kind of a psycho.
make one of your best memories minor league hockey.
And that's what I'm saying. So if it's like a minor league team,
That's just very Canadian.
yeah,
Just like
It's
the under
insanely
17
Canadian.
team or
That's very Letterkenny-esque.
juniors.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a Trailer Park Boys situation.
Yes.
It's aggressive. But enough of that. Before we get into this week's episode, I do have a couple requests for you. If you could leave a review and 5 stars and write a review on iTunes, on Apple Podcasts, whatever it's called, that'd be great. Or just 5-star on Spotify. If you're listening there, we have some reviews to read at the end of the episode. So shout out to those who have done it. We love you for it. Also, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/softcorehistory, where you get 2 extra episodes a week. That's 8 extra episodes a month. 8 extra episodes a month for $5 a month. But here's the kicker. All of our shit's evergreen.
That's right. It is all evergreen.
So you're paying $5 a month for a giant back catalog. You know, we're not talking. What do I like to say every time? We're not talking about The Bachelor or something.
Sure. But
where the
let's
show.
ignore what you're saying. Let's go and read the reviews that were left. Just right off the top. Let's do it.
You want to go first? Read the
Yeah,
reviews.
I wanna
All right,
do it.
I don't care. Fine.
Last review, Funny and Knowledgeable by MySpace 9999.
Ah, nice.
All funny and knowledgeable dudes, each with great one-liners. I'd bang all 3.
Wow.
I just wanted to get that off the top.
That made all of our days.
Fantastic podcast. I love this podcast as a guy who loves history. These men are amazing. For a brief review podcast, they honestly do a very thorough job.
I agree.
They never leave you with history blue balls. They always make sure you get there. I'd love to see these guys make this a very successful podcast. Being a hard hands is overrated. Trust me, I know. Yeah.
Trust me, I knew.
Help us grow.
Trust
Tell
me,
a friend.
I don't want to find out.
And
Yeah.
if this is your first time listening to the podcast, strap in.
Yeah.
We're going to hold you hostage.
Hey, we also have a call-in line, too, and we need calls.
No. That's strictly for the Patreon.
Yeah, but you can
The
still
Patreon
call-
members got pissed
that we even asked
that
for them.
we gave out the number on the main episode. So
Why?
shut your fucking whore mouth.
Why?
And no, if you want to call, it's Patreon.
Gotta-
Join the
gotta
Patreon.
sub.
Okay.
In order to get on the Discord too, you got to join the Patreon.
But if you don't have $5 to spare, you can still subscribe
Stop being poor.
to our YouTube. Please
Go to our
subscribe to the YouTube if you don't already. It is Softcore History.
Yeah, you'll find
It's the
it.
name of the
You'll-
YouTube.
You'll find it. Yeah,
it's not hard. Not hard to find.
Tell
hard
them
to find.
Rob sent you.
I guess you
And by
can.
that, you're just telling
telling
me
you,
that Rob
tell
sent you.
Dan that
Yeah.
Rob sent you.
Yeah. But enough of that. Let's get into this week's episode. As everyone, I'm sure, is aware, there is both a writers and actors strike going on right now.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. We don't really need to get into why that's happening. I'm
No,
not
let's
going
give our hard and fast opinions on
to... Right.
Yeah.
I'm not-
whether or not it's justified.
yeah, I'm not going to get into what that's about, but suffice it to say...
No, I want you to remove yourself from the guild and make yourself a social pariah.
I'm not in the guild. I
I know, but I want you to do it.
I do have a script registered with WGA West, a pilot script, but that's it. I'm not a guild member myself.
I want you to get blackballed.
I probably already am.
So these are not my opinions, but Rob off mic told me that they are spoiled and that they deserve minimum wage.
If you could even call what they do work, I believe is what he said. Yeah.
He was just going in on them.
Yeah.
I wish you could be here before the podcast recorded.
Dan and I, being labor, what is it, sympathizers?
We know
well,
the
you're just a
struggle.
communist, but
we know the struggle of a blue collar man.
Yeah.
Rob doesn't.
He's the
Grew up
hammer on the
rich.
sickle. You know.
Parents were lawyers.
grew up very wealthy, incredibly wealthy. Private schools my
I've
entire
seen-
life.
I've seen his home. It's fucking picturesque. It's very American dream in the outskirts of.
I don't know that your eyes were open at my house.
They were when I got there the first time.
They were when the sun opened up through the plantation shutters.
It was, yeah. Your live-in help was very kind to me.
I don't know if you guys think this bit wounds me, but I just enjoy people thinking I'm like incredibly wealthy.
Why don't you lean back into your chair and enjoy the episode?
Yeah.
While you two just make up a history about me.
Here's what happened
That
when
softcore
Rob.
history about Rob's life.
Well, again,
Rob
as a
famously had
technical
an
guy,
opener.
I would like you to be in focus this entire episode.
I am comfortable like this today. And I told you this is how I was going to live. I said as you were framing me up, this is how I'm going to live today.
Oh my God, it's on you. It's so on you.
It's on
the
you,
cricket
baby.
is on you
I
right
hope it
now.
fucking
The cricket is
murders you.
so on your back.
I hope it's
Oh, is it?
poisonous.
Sick.
It's really on you.
All right.
I'll.
Yeah. Welcome back. We
Oh,
are
no.
What
living
happened?
in the cricket house. We're guests.
Yeah, our studio has never been sprayed for pests, so I guess there's worse things than crickets, but
Ugh. Yeah, I mean scorpions for sure, but
They're here too.
and it's so
Easily.
weird. Every time I have a joke that falls flat, they start chirping really loud.
yeah,
It's kind of like a built-in shit test, you know?
it's a built-in bit.
Yeah.
They're
Um,
actually robotic.
Dan
Kind
just
of like
has
how
a clicker.
people think birds aren't real. I just have a shit ton of crickets here.
Damn, dude.
Dude, it was on your nuts.
Fucking
Inserted for comedic effect.
There it goes, scurrying
They're
away.
huge.
These things are well fed.
They're like locusts.
They're just loading up on hard AF.
Where are all the spiders?
They might have taken out the spiders, bro.
God damn it.
They're like Mecca.
This is why
crickets.
every time my wife is like, there's a spider I need you to kill, I'm like, where is it? Because there's a lot of spiders I would like to leave in place.
Tactical spiders.
Yeah, a lot of tactical spiders. at my
Outside,
home.
they're staying.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Unless it's like a legitimately something.
Like a black widow or
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
unless it's that, I'm fucking leaving it.
We should seriously think about setting off a tactical nuke in the studio.
We have the smoke bomb.
I was
We have
about
the
to
smoke
say,
We have
grenade.
the smoke grenade.
You almost set it off the other day.
According to Holloway, no.
According to our veteran.
That you really
He
have.
said as long as the pin's not removed, you could throw that against the wall.
I think
You're
that makes a
fine.
lot of sense considering they have to travel in crates across long distances. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, strike's going on, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Suffice it to say, I'm not going to talk about what it's about or whatever, but suffice it to say what it's not about, really, is
Talent.
working conditions,
Yeah.
right? They're not really, like, no one's getting sucked into machinery or
As
anything.
you said earlier, they just get catered their
Soft
food,
hands. Yeah.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Seems like an easy gig.
Well, I was going to say SAG has not actually had a strike about working conditions since the 1950s.
Oh.
And look, it's not, actors. It was more about actors and writers, but actors, like, they work 12 hours a day, and maybe sometimes their director or producer is mean to them or jerks off in front of them or something like that.
At a party, finds a plant, comes
Right.
in it.
Whatever. But unless you're a method actor, overall, it's a pretty great job. As long as you're working, like, being an actor is like a dope job.
Right.
So working conditions haven't really been a overall industry problem. It's like, people have bad productions and stuff, but whatever. But holy shit, did working conditions for actors used to be insane.
Well, the Wizard of Oz lady, Judy Garland.
So
It was all run and gun, baby.
Yes. From the hip. And by that, I mean, get on my hips.
mostly
You had to
run.
be truly creative too with
Yeah.
some of the stunts and how to get shots, especially before Citizen Kane.
Oh, it was all what do you call it? Not digital.
Practical effects.
Yeah, it was all practical effects. It was all fucking, it was all like hardware. It was all like you had to do fucking It was like Christopher Nolan, right? When he found out it was cheaper to crash an actual plane than CGI the
Or
plane.
set off a real nuke in Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan is a nuclear power. Like, what's his Syncopy? Syncopy.
They signed
or
off
signed copy,
on
whatever.
him having nukes.
Yeah, it's fine.
For the movie.
Yeah, but so I actually wrote in here. I was like, everyone kind of vaguely knows about Judy Garland.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that she was like the studios were just giving her like cigarettes and meth starting at the age of like 12 and working her 20 hours a day.
Got to keep her thin.
She was chemically woken up and chemically put back to bed.
Gotta keep her thin.
Got to keep her thin. She's only allowed to eat like one grape a day, a lot of blackface. Basically, mostly how Cillian Murphy did for Oppenheimer, but he was doing it by choice. What was his shit? Like, I ate an almond a day. That was like his own. It's like, you were already skinny, dude.
Yeah.
Killian, you were already fucking skinny.
That was the best part of the movie. We knew this going in that Oppenheimer didn't really eat much, but they really threw it in your face. Like, hey, Oppie, here's a fruit. Like an orange is really going to do some fucking damage to you.
Yeah.
That's substance right there that's going to keep the weight on.
A fucking 5-calorie orange.
Yeah. That sugar might just get him high, though.
Right. But yeah, everyone kind of knows about Judy Garland. So I'm not talking about Judy. That's almost too on the
played out.
nose.
Too
Right.
played out.
Instead, we're going to talk about another star from that time period. A star who is in some ways, A, was one of the most famous people of the time period, and B, was sort of like the original kind of John Belushi or Chris Farley.
The original fat man?
The original sort of bigger guy who did physical comedy.
Was it Abbott?
No,
I was unaware of fat people before the 1940s.
they were there. There was Fatty Arbuckle. We're not talking about him, but his name was
Before
Apt.
processed foods.
Apt.
Chubby Checker.
They still had sugar and alcohol.
All thin.
They were a lot thinner. The end, though, for this person was somehow much, much worse than Belushi and Farley, and it was directly related to working conditions.
Damn, it's worse than Farley. Have you seen his fucking death picture?
I'm going to call it now. It was a set light kind of dangling, and it fell off and decapitated him.
He wishes.
Oh.
He wishes.
Okay.
Who was this man?
We're talking about Curly from the Three Stooges.
Oh, yes.
I'm not unaware of how he died.
I never cared to look into it.
Are you guys familiar with the Three Stooges at least?
Yeah,
Yes.
so hopefully, I guess he was a method actor himself.
He was actually just that zoinky.
We'll get into that. Yeah, so you know which one it is too, right? The guy that's like, whoop.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. He was the most famous one. He was,
His head's chopped off.
yeah. By the way, the most famous comedian of his era, no training in anything whatsoever, no improv classes, no fucking.
Just a natural born talent.
Yeah, kind of. Really, I mean, he only played the one character, but yeah.
As someone that's been to a full course load of improv school, you don't need it.
You either got it or you don't, baby.
Yeah, it's very true. I saw people go through it
God.
that
Going to
didn't learn a fucking thing.
Going to a local troupe show is maybe the most pain-inducing thing you can
He
imagine.
said that to me in the middle of your showcase.
I was about to say, imagine being in it.
Yeah.
It's even worse.
Dan turned to whisper to me. He was like, "This is the worst thing I've ever fucking seen." And I was like, "Dude, it's only been Jake on the stage so far."
No.
No,
And he was like, "I know it's gonna get."
I never went to Jake's, but I did go to one when I was dating a girl to see her friend. And in the middle of groups, there was just this like lesbian girl that did these twirly kind of spinner drape things.
Or like ribbon dancing?
Like she ribbon danced.
Okay.
and I didn't know. I thought it was a bit at first. So I was
So
the
you're
only person laughing because everybody else like was there to joke around, but she was dead serious.
Well, you can't. That's on the showrunner.
Yep.
You can't drop that in the middle of a comedy show and expect people not to laugh at it.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I always get annoyed at
But
Austin.
I died. It was the hardest I laughed all night.
That's
because I thought she was just so committed to the bit.
It is really funny. It's like Will Ferrell in Old School, right? When he just does the ribbon dancing. Ribbon dancing's hilarious.
It was at
It
a
is fun.
church.
The improv show was?
Yeah.
Oh, man, this reeks of Austin
Sounds fucking
troop
grim.
comedy.
I always get annoyed at Austin. I've only been to a couple, but Austin improv shows in particular, because I don't know, like they're always so like satisfied with themselves, and I'm like, you shouldn't be.
No, it's
Like-
literally like some of the worst people in the class were like, we really killed that. And feel like, no, I fucking hated every second of that, guys. We
Shouldn't.
Name names. Bush, Jared.
Boosh and Jared were great to work with.
I forgot they were in that.
Boosh, though, dropped a hard. We were in a sketch, and he was playing a racist grandfather. So he started yelling about Japs on stage. He's like, that fucking Jap. And after it, like someone was like, you cannot do that again. And we're like, he's playing a character. It's totally
That's
fine.
fucking bitch shit. By the way, that's annoying too, because I would hear stories about UCB in LA and stuff like that.
Listen, you got to play it safe. Italians, Polish, Irish.
All right,
That's all you got to go after.
yeah, and I honestly, even Greek people will call you a racist.
I think Greek's the line. Greek turkey.
I don't even know what the Greek slurs are.
You fucking democracy inventor.
Yeah. You damn. I don't know.
You just call him Harry or something.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
greasy.
It's oily. They're
Why don't
oily.
you go fuck a block of feta, you piece of shit?
That's actually pretty great. A feta head.
Shove this in your gyro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so you know who the Stooges are. They started in vaudeville, became big film and kind of TV stars those later, and are one of the most famous comedy groups in American history. If you don't know, there was a terrible movie about them in like 2012 or something like that.
There's a reboot.
And like any band or TV show, people say the Stooges were never the same after they lost an original member. In this case, their most popular member, Curly. I don't know if you recall. Have you ever heard of Shemp?
No.
Shemp? No. What's that?
You ever heard Shemp? Shemp was the guy who replaced Curly. It's actually his brother.
Oh. God. Very Belushi.
Yeah.
Very Belushi.
Did
Now-
Shemp also marry Carly's wife? Replace him in all aspects of life.
Curly had too many wives for that to be possible, kind of.
Multiple families.
Well, kind of. We'll get it. Not simultaneously.
I will say I had to watch a lot of According to Jim. I didn't have to. I watched a lot of According to Jim as a kid.
Yeah, that was your choice.
Yeah, I watched
Really?
it with my parents. Yeah. And it was always just so funny. It's like, really? He's married to Courtney Thorne Smith? Really?
Couldn't tell you who that was.
Really?
Just some hot chick.
Yeah. It basically Cheryl Hines. Like Courtney Thorne Smith. Same thing.
No, but Larry David plays himself.
Yeah, that's true. Jim
So
Belushi.
he's got Seinfeld money.
Yeah, Jim Belushi's like a contractor.
Right.
in the
He's
show.
just like
Yeah.
a middle class schlub married to Courtney Thorne Smith.
To be fair, there's a lot of people that are contractors that do fairly well that are living that exact life.
Or just go to. I was just in Tuscaloosa. Every SEC bro is married to somebody that's an 8 or above.
Yeah, because the market's all fucked up there. You know what I mean? It's all dad bod Dallas looking motherfuckers.
It's dad
Married
body.
to-
It's not even dad bod. It's bodies that are just like a sack of potatoes that were left in a bathtub, like a bath water. It was too
It's
hot.
Nothing a golf polo can't fix.
Yeah, dad body, daddy money.
That dry fit does not.
The dry it's not dry fit, it's pica. It's a structured shirt that they're wearing.
Yeah.
They're
And
gonna-
they keep it on during sex.
Yeah.
That's their secret that you don't realize.
The backwards hat as well.
Yes.
backwards hat's dope, dude.
Boat shoes too for traction
For traction on
Yeah.
the boat.
on the boat.
According to Colin Coward, you would not be a franchise quarterback.
Because I have a backwards hat
'Cause You're
on.
wearing a backwards cap right now.
Well, what can I say?
Jake, though, all
I-
the makings of a great
I've
NFL QB.
always said I would have been a great QB if we didn't run a triple option in high school.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. I played offensive
should have
line.
went to the academies. Why didn't you serve?
Yeah, I know. because they also run a triple op.
Well, the IDF
I just want
does
to
a
slang
football
it.
team.
Yeah, it's just fucking soccer.
But they would run the triple option. most
they-
likely.
Oh, the
Thousand-
IDF for sure.
They would run the quadruple
you
option. they'd add another wrinkle we can't even conceive.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Shemp replaced Curly at some point, and he was sort of a dud. He actually was an original member, but before they got famous, he left to do his own shit. Curly came in. But anyway, Shemp replaced him. I don't know if you know this, but having a Shemp or being a Shemp, that was the original jumping the shark. That was jumping the shark before jumping the shark.
I've actually heard that term before.
Yeah, it's a real Shemp.
It's funny you keep saying, I don't know if you know this, though, because almost exclusively I will not for this episode.
We shemped up.
Yeah. So, like, for example, if I left this show, anyone you replaced me with would be the Shemp.
Might be a higher quality product, actually.
What if we got someone? You know, I was
Might actually grow.
I was reading the comments on the Roswell Patreon where we recorded in Phoenix, and people loved it.
Me, you, and Giorgio.
Yeah, because we were all too fucking
We were hammered.
ripped. We were so fucked up. They were
didn't
like,
even
this is
keep-
actually kind of fun to
I just
listen
kind
to.
of gave up on the topic.
We gave up like 30 minutes into it and just started riffing.
The one time you guys drink on the show, I'm not there.
It was a blast.
It was Super Bowl week and
And-
Waste Management week.
yeah, it was.
I remember. I know what was going on.
I'm sorry you don't show up to trips.
Giorgio got me high as shit before that too. He's like, "You want to smoke?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I do. I'm on vacation,
You're lucky you're alive.
dude."
No, I say that because he killed Aaron Carter. He got Aaron Carter high.
Giorgio did.
Yeah.
They're not related, but Dude, the crickets
I can't-
kamikaze and
I
Rob
can't
now.
emphasize enough that there's like 30 crickets flying around the fucking studio right now.
It is so many.
Goddamn insane.
It's like we're outside. It's really ridiculous how many crickets there are.
Outside would be better.
Actually, there's more room for them to play around.
God doesn't want us to speak about Curly.
No.
Or he does. Every time we get off topic, Rob gets hit with a cricket.
Yeah, that's true. Like, stay on topic. The people need to know God supports the writers and actors strike, clearly. But yeah, being a Shemp was kind of jumping the shark before jumping the shark was a thing. So, for example, when to go with the jumping the shark person, when Chachi kind of replaced the Fonz, he was a real Shemp.
Scrappy Doo would be a Shemp.
Scrappy Doo, absolute Shemp. Basically, everyone who ran The Office after Michael Scott, a fucking Shemp.
Yeah. Definitely a Shemp.
So that is a Shemp. I'm sure you've heard it at least once in your life. But what happened to Curly, who is arguably the most beloved member of the group? What happened to him?
How'd he die?
Well, the Stooges worked a lot,
Okay.
Like around town.
like on film. Between 1934 and 1957, from when they signed with to when they ended with Columbia Pictures, they made 190 short films.
Yeah, they probably had a bad deal, right?
Can't
They probably signed like a massive, extensive contract.
like an in perpetuity contract that's like you're ours forever.
yeah.
As one of our what's one of our top 3 catchphrases on the show?
Shit don't change.
No,
Tales old as time.
I'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Oh, we'll get to that.
That's
That
one
is-
of our catchphrases.
that is kind of one of our catchphrases.
Because
yeah.
we guess a lot of the stuff. It's like, oh, so what's going to happen is, we're like, yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We will get to that.
I wish we start doing that, but never get to things.
Well,
That'd be funnier.
there's a lot of listeners
That's
who
a better bit.
There's a lot of listeners who leave reviews that are basically like, they never get to it. They never get to it.
Fuck you.
Perhaps
How about
we
that?
gloss over it.
That's been our show.
It'd be better if we don't get to it.
It's a free-flowing conversation.
That's right.
So even though they were with Columbia Pictures from 34 to 57, Curly would not appear in any Stooges films after 1947. The Stooges were insanely popular, so much so that Columbia head Harry Cohn used them as leverage against theaters in order to bully them into showing some of other of Columbia's movies.
Oh, so we'll pull the Stooges stuff if you don't show our other movies?
Yes.
Damn.
Now, Cohn would do that to get more of Columbia's pictures in the theaters. The Stooges never knew that because he made sure to never let them know the numbers they were doing.
Keep them in the dark.
Yeah. Make them hungry.
He somehow kept it from them that they were the most popular comedy act in
I was gonna
America.
say, how do they?
know!
How did people not just come up to them and be like, "You guys are fucking incredible"?
Like,
they didn't get like.
Curly's getting like 5 blowjobs a day, and then Harry Cohn's like, "I'm sorry, boys, the numbers are down again."
You're
for
only
the
popular with horse. Sorry, and they don't have money for movies.
No.
I actually do the opposite with you guys. I don't have the heart to tell you that we have about 15 listeners total.
You're just funding us.
I believe it. I believe it. I can't stress enough that we are being kamikazed by crickets left and right. These things don't want to live.
Well, it finally rained in Texas.
Oh, it's really bad. Yeah. A lot
they
of
all
bugs.
came in.
It's kind of like, I imagine it's kind of like what they did with Tim Tebow at UF, where it's like, all right, Tim, you're going to have your own little room and your own little major, and you're never going to come out, except for practice.
Yep. That is essentially, so in fact, not only did Cohn do that and withheld how popular they really were, how much money they really made for the studio, how valuable they were to the studio, the Stooges also were on a year-to-year contract.
Oh.
And it had to be renewed at the end of every year. And at the end of every year, Cohn would tell them,
The numbers were down.
boys, the numbers are down. You're not drawing like you used to.
And give them less money?
Kind of if you adjust for inflation. Every single year, Cohn would wait until the last second to renew their contracts. And Cohn's tactic worked every single year for 23 years. Not once. From 1934 to 1957, which, by the way, I know that's 23 years, so that's like 2000 to 2023, and you think but think how much the world and the economy and everything changed between those 2 years.
Oh, 1,000%. You had the Marshall Plan take place in that period.
World War II, the Depression.
You had the golden age of capitalism happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All this stuff. Over those 23 years, not once did they ask for a raise because they believed they were barely worth.
He negged them
Yes.
into a great deal.
And they never got one. They lost out on millions and millions of dollars at the time.
They're like, oh, he's such a stand-up guy. Look what he's doing for us.
And that's
he
what's-
really believes in us.
That's what's screwing the studios now. All these apps have to put out their numbers to get more investment. They're like, wait a minute, how much are you streaming? Wait a minute, what are you paying us?
Right.
That's why that's happening. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So
So
the
if
streamers
that sounds
don't-
this sounds familiar to you.
yeah.
They don't. I'd be surprised if any of them break even.
Streamers?
Yeah.
No, but
Services?
that's mostly but that's like any other. People
It's
act like
any-
this is a showbiz thing. This is a tech thing.
That's a
It's a huge tech thing.
It's a business.
It's the same way, same shit Uber did, the same shit all the food
Uber
apps.
It's
just
all-
had their first profitable year.
It's all based off potential.
Uber's in the black for the first time.
I know they were
ever.
all of our rides for a decade were subsidized by investor money.
Yeah. Now it's getting expensive.
Now it's super expensive because now we're paying what it actually costs.
Yeah.
We've been getting a discount for a decade. They got us hooked on the product.
I remember when I first took a Lyft, it was free.
Yeah. When they first showed up here, it's like, nah, man, just hit it.
Just get in,
It
baby.
was like, get in on the app.
It's like, what's the
Tell your
what's,
friends about it.
what's the deal, guys? Yeah, smart.
Cohn, by the way, Harry Cohn. I did a little bit more reading on him, but I didn't do a ton. Not because I didn't want to talk more about him and stuff, but
Are you a cone head?
one of you one of you two, I don't care which one, needs to do an episode on him.
Harry Cohn.
Let me put it this way. He makes Harvey Weinstein look like a feminist.
Oh, interesting.
He is the casting couch goat.
Okay. Yeah, one of us will take that. Harry Cohn. That's what they call me in prison.
He's have a conical,
Hairy
very pubic,
conical.
a hairy conical fucking penis.
Yes. It's very pointy.
Yeah, you didn't do anything with it to anyone.
No.
It's just like you were in the showers.
They're like, hey, Harry Cohn.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god,
Yeah.
this literal cone.
Yeah.
Again, cone head.
Yeah.
Cohn is once said to have remarked that running a studio was, quote, better than being a pimp.
Holy shit.
If you want to know his thoughts on everything.
There was no saying the quiet part loud back then, so
Yeah.
you just said what you wanted.
You just said anything you wanted to.
Most of Hollywood's starlets back then were tragic stories.
And Harry Cohn had a part in
They
more
were
than a few.
mostly tragic.
I mean, I'm not nagging anyone's aptitude, but there was a way to get casted very quickly in Hollywood.
Oh, and Harry Cohn partook in it
Yeah.
for decades.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, one of you two needs to do an episode on him. He is, again, Harvey Weinstein ain't got nothing.
The Gaga Bradley Cooper movie,
A Star is Born?
Star is Born. The original, I believe, covers it in great detail. Maybe not Harry Cohn, but like
Probably could be.
Midwestern girl goes to make it in on the big screen and constantly just like every producer is just a sleazebag.
Yeah.
Just like, you know what gets you in this movie?
Sucking my dick.
Daddy's lap.
Which, like, I mean, I guess, that's how you did business at the time. Look, I would suck a cock to have a show on TV right now.
You got to be more specific.
Yeah.
Like an HBO show? Sure. Fucking
TLC?
TLC? I don't know.
Reality show.
Yeah. I'll work out the
Softcore history reality show, TLC. You're sucking dick for that?
You're sucking dick for that show?
You wouldn't?
No.
Probably not.
Absolutely not.
Because no one's watching TLC anymore.
That show is just going to be about these three guys had to suck dick for
And
this
speaking
show.
of bad contracts and the content on that station, we've talked about it where that girl that looks like she's like 11.
Okay, that exact show, though, what network do you suck a dick to get it on?
Our show or her show?
Our show.
I
just said
It would
HBO.
probably be a streaming service, yeah.
HBO?
HBO
It
is,
has to be HBO?
or I don't know, like Comedy Central.
Because we've always pitched it as like Insomniac meets Bourdain, right?
Yeah, so it's gonna have to be on something without like MPAA restrictions.
Yeah.
Comedy Central
an
or
FX?
Comedy Central FX, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that type, or FXX, whatever. You don't want it on a streamer, I think.
FXX.
I think the last thing you want is a Hulu original. I mean, you'll take it, but I won't take it fucking...
No.
Maybe like kiss... I'll French kiss the producer for that.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's a good slide.
Like, I have a list, I have a scale. Whatever.
Rob has a whole four quadrant graph.
I'll share you the Google...
Would you pimp out your wife first or you?
That's taking way too long to answer.
Me, I guess.
I think I know the answer is not what you just said. The
super
answer is not what you
positive
just
with
said.
that.
You thought through the moral and ethical
Dilemma.
context of your answer and got to it.
No, I think it'd be me.
I think
I can just
I
do
think
the
if the
business.
option were on the table from how you just answered it, I don't know how you would go.
Well, Courtney, you're listening, I assume, so tell me what you think when you listen to this episode.
And if you don't say anything, we assume you're cool with it.
Yeah. If you don't mention it at all, we assume that you're cool to just go bananas on some producer's wiener.
So dumb. So stupid. The woman that famously doesn't listen to our podcast. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. As another running
We've set so many traps for her.
really have.
I'll pass, baby.
So that was not great for the Stooges that they lost out on millions of dollars. Again, at the time, millions of dollars. Not adjusted for inflation. But also, thanks to the popularity of their particular type of humor, slapstick,
Yes.
their films had what were known literally as violence quotas.
So they had to have a certain amount of people getting hurt.
Certain amount of pies to the face. Certain
Well,
amount of mallets to the head.
mallets were used quite often, yeah, and that's the problem. They always had to one up their previous gags.
Kind of like Jackass.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
It was just Looney Tunes.
In real
but with
life.
humans, yeah.
And practical effects.
The Stooges suffered quite a few injuries throughout their run, and they increased over time. Injuries like broken ribs, broken noses, teeth knocked out, concussions.
We should recut an episode of Three Stooges to the Jackass theme. Down now. This is Curly.
I mean, they were,
We're the Stooges.
No, trying to fake and pull their punches, but like, obviously you do that many fucking films.
I imagine they're drinking the whole time too.
No. They were totally sober.
They
on
were
set.
super professional.
Yeah.
That's wild. Okay.
Straight up
Yeah.
stunt, man.
Mo would not allow it.
That's pretty cool because probably you'd get way more hurt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was all according to Larry Fine. Like all of these injuries were common
Damn.
during filming the Three Stooges. And again, for this hugely successful group, Curly was the most popular member, and he was one of the
his
most
hair?
physically abused on screen as well.
Just his hair. He looked the funniest.
That had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
And actually, we're going to get to what he thought of his hair.
He thought he was a fucking stud.
We'll get to that. Curly was the most popular member, but stardom was not really great for him.
Oh, no.
Again, like I said, I referenced Belushi and Farley. Kind of the same deal here. Curly, for his character, had a bald and mostly shaved head. It was one of his calling cards, but having to shave his head actually made him feel super ugly and unattractive to women, and that deeply affected his self-esteem. This, along with their frantic work schedule, led him to eat and drink to excess to kind of just drown his sorrows in as much dopamine as he could get.
Yeah, just bury the self-talk.
Oh,
Yeah.
Curly is not who I thought.
You're thinking of the one with curly hair.
That's Larry.
Yes. It's a bit.
Yeah, got it.
Curly means something different.
Gotcha.
I think-
Curly's kind of balding.
Curly's bald.
He had to shave his head.
He shaves his head.
He was not balding at all. He had a good thick head of hair.
All right. But he's kind of the fatter one.
Yes, he's the fat one.
I was picturing the dude with the curly hair.
No. So Mo is the bowl cut, who's like the sort of leader, the least idiot. Larry is, I don't know, just the weird one. And then Curly is like they're all stupid, but Curly's the stupidest.
Gotcha. Okay. I would imagine people at home who are not familiar with the Three Stooges like myself would also think.
Curly was the one with the
long
curly
hair.
hair. Yeah.
Well, I say he's the one that's like, whoa,
Yeah.
blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, Curly he's the Chris Farley of the group. He's the Belushi of the group. He's the biggest. They all do physical comedy. He does the most physical comedy and stuff like that. So yeah,
They're all kind of chunky.
but
you know.
Curly's sort of the big one.
Yeah, he is.
He's the star.
And so this led him to, he was actually like a really introverted, kind of quiet guy, but he was so stressed and felt the need to entertain people and be popular because he was so famous that he drank to kind of bring his personality out and stuff like that.
That's a drag, dude. Like, I can't imagine that being the personality type for stardom at all. An introvert. Like, I'm trying to think of other people that would fit that bill.
A lot of actors are like weirdos.
Yeah.
Introverted weirdos.
I mean, fame has to ruin you, too, on a certain level.
Especially, I feel like the younger you get it.
Oh, for sure. Like, think about it. Like,
Because you know who's totally chill? Like Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
Who didn't get like he was on Malcolm in the Middle when he was in his like probably late 30s, early 40s.
You know who's kind of chill?
Who?
Macaulay Culkin.
No, he was insane for a while.
Yeah.
He's well adjusted now.
From decades of therapy. Decades, dude. Like, you know who else kind of had the same thing as Macaulay Culkin? Corey Hart. You know what happened to him? He dead.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Or Feldman.
Or Feldman, who, man.
Not a person.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Frankie
Hard-
Muniz is killing it right now.
He's
just
he
racing stock
also
cars.
doesn't remember filming Malcolm in the Middle.
To be fair, that's from racing.
That is from racing, yeah.
That's the CTE.
Yeah.
That's the car crashing, but that's wild. Can you imagine that? He was on that show for what, like 7 years?
Oh, it was a decade.
Yeah, and he doesn't remember it.
Because he's tiny.
One of the most underrated television shows
And
of the 21st
if he gets in a
century.
car crash, like his whole body gets CTE.
Yeah, he's a small dude. A lot of race car
Which
drivers
is why he
are.
fits in a
A
car.
lot of actors are, too.
Yeah, a lot of small
Actors
people.
are very twee people. Despite his low self-esteem, though, specifically about his looks, like he thought he was just like hideous to women because of the haircut in particular. Curly was popular with women, actually.
Really?
Yeah, particularly gold diggers looking to steal his money.
I
Of
love
course. Of course. I was just
that. The
about to
little
say,
money
of
he
course.
gets paid.
Yeah.
Because they probably think he's huge.
Yeah,
Well, he is. He is, as far as like fame and popularity, he's rolling in it, but
Fame
he's
don't
getting
equate.
nagged
they're
by
still
everyone else's
making
money.
good money.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. They're making good money. They're just not making anywhere near their fair share.
Should have. Yeah.
Right. So they were just, gold diggers trying to steal his money, and boy, did they succeed at that. I mean, every single time except once. Curly was married 4 times. Moe's son-in-law, Norman Maurer, whatever, noted as a quote from Norman, I think in like not a biography, I guess, but like maybe in a biography, I don't know. Norman said of Curly, he was a pushover for women. If a pretty girl went up to him and gave him a spiel, Curly would marry her. Then she would take all of his money and run off. It was the same. This is even worse, honestly. It was the same when a real estate agent would come up and say, I have a house for you. Curly would sell his current home and just buy another one.
Very trusting man.
Yeah, so they weren't doing that bad.
He was well, that's what I'm saying. Like, they were making a lot of money. It's just like, I don't know, man. Imagine if everyone in the Avengers made $2 million.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not feeling bad for them in so much as like, well, you're all fucking millionaires. But
it's like you could be making 50.
They should be making a lot more.
Yeah.
They're not getting their fair share, and the Stooges were one of the biggest draws at the time. So Curly's second marriage, which produced a daughter, ended in a horribly bitter divorce in 1940. The stress from it caused him to gain a ton of weight and develop hypertension, which, by the way, he had already been like aggressively drinking and eating and stuff for 6 years at this point, dealing with fame. The constant stress of work also had him out all night getting fucked up. Essentially, you're shooting 12-hour days. He's like improvising a lot, trying to be funny.
His brain is going nonstop. His body is going nonstop. And then like you can't just, all right, time for bed after that.
No, you can't turn off.
You need something to
Burn
tune
the
it
candle
out.
on both ends.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I mean, like anyone that works really hard hours knows that like I don't do that often, but when I've had to put in like long weeks or shit like that, like if you put in like a 12, 13-hour day or you're up until like 1 a.m. working and then you're like, all right, well I should go to bed now. It's like you're not
gonna happen.
Yeah, you need something to knock you out.
Yeah. And his choice was
taking a mallet.
like a fifth of whiskey or something.
That's rough.
Yeah. Every night. So all of that stress.
Holy shit.
More cricket
Raining
action.
crickets now.
There's like 5 of them.
Yeah,
now.
it's fucking insane.
They all came out of the ceiling.
I think there's like a colony up there. It's like ants, but it's crickets.
Do crickets have like a beehive?
They might now at this place.
It's called your insulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Yeah, square up, dog.
everything was terrible. I mean, the act was popular, but they weren't getting paid enough, and he was stressed all the time. In fact, the only thing that ever really brought him joy, I mean, maybe his daughter didn't really say in my research, but again, this is softcore history. The only thing up to this point that ever really brought him
Well,
joy.
as a father, does your child,
Well, he's a boy
or your
dad.
children,
I'm a
yeah,
boy
you're
dad.
but
I don't know.
do your children bring you joy?
Yes. Great joy.
Great joy?
Great joy. Much joy.
More than we'll ever know as non-fathers.
Certainly.
Gotcha.
Well,
Yeah.
non-father.
So I'm just going to assume then, with your father expertise, it's a little joy he had.
There's one other thing that brought him joy. This is probably his main source of healthy joy, semi-healthy joy. Befriending stray dogs.
Oh, that's sweet.
He had a kind heart.
He did that. This guy was like incredibly sweet.
This is becoming more tragic as you
Yeah, he
paint the
just sounds
picture
like
of
a
him.
moron.
He is really dumb. He's really dumb, way too trusting, and always stressed out.
Yeah.
Typically,
Fun episode.
they don't go hand in hand.
He's a
Usually, if you're moronic or, dumb and successful, it doesn't stress you out. Usually, they're the most even keel people we know.
but he's an introvert. But people don't want to see the clown cry. Dance, clown.
Just make the ha-has happen.
Yeah. So he would pick up homeless dogs, take them with him from town to town when they were touring, and until he found a home for them somewhere. When not performing, he usually had a few dogs waiting for him at home as well, just like dogs he adopted.
I
Or
thought they were going to be on set.
that they wouldn't do. Mo actually ran a pretty tight set. Mo wouldn't let him drink on set. He couldn't drink until after work was done. I assume he showed up violently hungover.
Yeah.
But
That's when you're at your best.
was not kind of. You're just stripped down. A decade into their relentless and endlessly stressful Columbia run by 1944, Curly was basically a shell of his former self. He had likely already suffered a stroke, at least one, but no one really knew for sure.
That was a great bit you did, Curly, where you went all limp and started talking with the weird moniker.
You just did the woo woo woo, but out that one side of your mouth.
That was
That
so
was
wild,
fun.
bro.
That was crazy, dude.
Keep
How'd you
doing it.
think of that?
Yeah. Oh, don't keep doing it.
That's just the one. After filming Rockin' in the Rockies, Curly was so, like, visibly unwell that Mo made Curly finally just, go to a doctor.
Yeah.
Curly was diagnosed with obesity, hypertension, and a retinal hemorrhage.
Man, I would love, God, I love that obesity is a diagnosis. It's like, how do you run the test on that? All right, yeah, you got that, bro.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you got it.
You just take the height and weight.
Yeah, I mean, it's it.
Yeah.
I don't even think you need to.
It was a lot more rare back then.
I think
though.
you could do an eye test for a lot of folks.
For a lot.
Yeah.
For quite a few. Yeah, but think
I
about
only
this.
trust the eye test.
He was able to become
Get your data and your analytics out of here. Eye test only.
grit.
I just need to see it.
Yeah. He was able to become obese, by the way. I mean, you're genetically predisposed to a certain extent, and I think he was. But, I mean, think about the time frame he became obese. The height of the Great Depression to the height of World War II, where you've got, like, food rationing and everything like that.
Yeah, he had money, though.
He did.
Yeah.
He did have money. Easy to be a fat, rich guy. Mo begged Columbia President Harry Cohn to give his brother some time off to recover, but Cohn refused, so they got back to filming.
Get back on that soundstage, you idiot.
The show goes on.
Yeah.
Laugh, slave.
Dance, monkey.
The Stooges did have 5 months off between August 1945 and January 1946. They used that time to book a 2-month live performance commitment in New York City, working shows 7 days a week.
Always be contented.
Always
Yeah.
content.
7 days a week is insane, too.
During their time on the East Coast, Curly met his third wife, Marion Buxbaum, who he married on October 17th, 1945, after a 2-week relationship.
Love
Yeah.
that. Sometimes when you know, you know.
And this
Every
was
man
at
needs a companion.
This was at Mo's encouragement because he was like, maybe a woman will fix you.
Healthy.
Even though the last two have destroyed you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, the first one, his first wife was pre-fame, and they just got divorced. Then the second wife,
They left on good terms, maybe, the first one.
I doubt divorce was good terms ever in this time period.
divorce is like
That was pretty intense.
really, it's almost like murdering your wife now, essentially.
Yeah,
It's like you don't do it.
yeah, you're abandoning this
Yeah.
woman. Yeah.
So he married her after 2 weeks. By 1946, Curly's voice was completely shot, and he could barely remember his lines because his brain was so fried from drinking and strokes.
That'll do it.
But the work went on. But his marriage did not. And the divorce proceedings with
Wait, how long was the third marriage?
like 9 months-ish, something like that,
Yikes.
less than a year.
Curly's starting to sound like Lee Corso right now. They just wheel him out. It's like, do the thing. Put the mascot head
That
on.
is essentially how it,
Yeah.
Oh, that's tragic right now.
It's hard to watch it.
that's where
Can't
we're
watch
at.
game day because of it.
No, like Herb Street's a total pro. I'm glad they sit him next to him.
For sure,
Because
but-
it's like
Man. Put him out the pasture already.
he gets the team wrong every time he talks. It's nuts.
No, it's not great. Where was I? Oh, sorry. So the divorce proceedings in this one were especially bitter, and the press coverage was really sensational and bad. Believe it or not, this was not great for Curly's already horrible stress and stroke-addled brain.
Get out. Really?
Yeah, also check it out. The media and news, sensationalism, it's not new.
No.
No.
Oh, people are like, I can't believe this Amber Heard Johnny Depp divorce. It's like, they've been doing this forever.
oh.
Yeah.
Forever.
They probably dragged this poor moronic buffoon through the mud.
I mean, think about this. This is 1946. You don't even got war to report on anymore.
Got to report on
Need
something.
some stories.
Yeah.
Give us the smut.
Yeah.
Give us the goddamn
Marion
schlop.
likely outright lied during the divorce proceedings to get as much money as possible. And by the way, they got married. She was a bitch to him the entire time, and he tried to keep winning her affection by spending basically all of his money on jewelry, trips, fur coats, blah, blah, blah. She was just racking that all up, and then
Swipe the card. Is he paying alimony for all of his ex-wives?
I don't know. Probably.
I imagine.
He was close to bankruptcy
This man is
multiple
living
times.
in a shoebox.
He was not living well. But Marion likely outright lied during the proceedings to get as much money and sympathy as possible. She claimed, and I quote, "He used filthy, vile language. He kept 2 vicious dogs. He shouted at waiters in cafes, struck and kicked me, and put out cigars in the sink."
The last one doesn't fit. The last one is so like what?
Oh, yeah, that was another thing, by the way. He smoked cigars like he was fucking Ulysses S. Grant.
Oh,
Constant cigar smoker.
that's
He's smoking a pack of cigars a day.
It's going to clog the drains.
yeah,
Keep putting it out in the sink.
Can't do that.
yeah. I mean, I guess it's unsightly, but like all the other things are
Yeah, kind of
way worse.
Well, everyone who knew him completely disputed that.
Yeah, you kind of
Yeah.
yada the strike and hit me.
Yeah, because it was likely all bullshit. Like, he was like a big sweetheart. Everyone was like, this is...
Teddy bear.
And this woman, again,
Notorious liar.
yeah, basically. He was getting taken for everything he was worth. And again, and like the guy said, Norman, whatever, in the whatever biography, he was like, I mean, he was... And as soon as a pretty girl came up to him, he would just do whatever she said.
I think that was a lot of people back in the 40s. Like our grandparents, their parents before them. I don't think they dated much.
no.
I think it was, hey, you're the second
Think
girl
about the
I've seen.
dating pool.
Yeah.
What about it?
You're stuck. I mean, how do you even meet people?
How do you? It's people in your town. It's just the people in your town.
It's usually always how it's been.
I guess that's true to an extent. You're not meeting people elsewhere.
I mean, it's one thing if you're in, he grew up in, I think, New York, so that's fine. But yeah, for most people, especially if you're outside of a city, holy shit.
That's I'm thinking from like small rural.
Ocala.
Yes.
USA.
Yes.
Us city boys over here,
Yeah.
we're just sliding through pussy.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I guess I don't.
No, you.
Yeah, so much
No,
so
you
that
don't.
I didn't get laid until I left Pennsylvania.
It's funny because I lost my V card before all
Both
you
of
did.
us,
Yeah.
Combined, he was 7.
I was very young.
It actually wasn't legal for you. You
Never
want to talk
was.
about it?
Not with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not doing this bit anymore.
that's fine. But if you
Sad.
subscribe to our Patreon, you can call in and ask about it.
Yeah.
The time Jake was assaulted.
Not a laughing matter.
None of this episode's a laughing matter. It's
really
fine.
not. None of our episodes really are ever.
Yeah, it's
really,
kind of.
The subject matter is
Kind
never
of.
supposed to be funny.
Yeah, it's never a good. We don't really have like a happy story on the show very
There's a
often.
couple.
Yeah. Stubby.
Timothy Dexter.
That was fun.
He locked his wife in an attic.
Said she was a ghost.
That was kind of funny, though.
That was fun.
That's kind of funny.
For us,
objectively funny through the lens of the present.
yeah.
There was a lot of other things that happened in his life before that, all right?
I will say Stubby is just a feel good story all around.
That is a feel-good. That's
Yeah, it
probably
is.
our most
That
feel-good story.
Now let's get to the least feel good part of this episode.
How'd he die? How'd he die?
Oh,
His fourth wife
there are fates worse than death.
What do
that
you
live
mean?
on in eternity. Like,
Is he in carbonite somewhere?
We're getting to the part
he's
that
frozen.
that inspired me to write this episode.
Okay.
To the part where I was like, to go back to the whole working conditions thing.
Did they upload him to the cloud and he has to make like dumb slapstick
No,
jokes
it's
forever?
the Jimmy Stewart ghost for Pepsi from Spare Bedroom. Buy it now on iTunes.
He's an AI ghost.
Oh, no, not an AI ghost. They just
I know.
pull his
Reanimated
soul out
soul.
of. Where's my family? Where's my wife? On May 6th, 1946, while filming Half-Wit's Holiday, Curly suffered a massive stroke on set while sitting in the chair, the director chair, Jules White's chair. He was the director. He just took a seat in the chair.
Sure.
Just sit down. They were shooting the last scene of the day
Last scene.
at the time,
Don't let it stop him.
and Curly
Keep it rolling.
had just grabbed a seat. Well, they were about to shoot the last scene. I should
Keep it
say.
rolling, boys. They put him on strings.
They were
Weekend at Curly's.
He just. He's a ventriloquist doll.
now. Curly had this massive, debilitating stroke, and no one noticed.
That means he was in such shit condition. Like, if you have a massive stroke and no one catches on, either everyone's just so...
Well, no one noticed for a little bit. No one noticed for a
See
little bit.
Curly over there is acting a little odd.
Finally, the assistant director called for Curly to take the stage to shoot the final scene with the other two Stooges, And he didn't answer.
Fucking diva.
Mo went looking for his brother, found him sitting in the chair. His head was dropped into his chest, and his mouth was distorted. He was looking very strokey, essentially.
Like cartoonishly stroking.
Yeah, just like... Curly could not speak or move. He just sat there in horrifying pain as tears streamed down his face, frozen in the director's chair.
I don't get this one, Curly. This bit isn't funny.
So everyone immediately rushed. Like, Curly had a stroke, and he's crying, he's frozen in pain, and everyone immediately rushed to rework the scene so that they could do it without Curly in it.
Yeah, I mean, he's already fucked up. Like, what's another 10 minutes, right?
And also, they, like, called an ambulance.
Well, I give him medical attention.
You know what I mean? So they were like, okay, you call an ambulance, we'll rewrite the scene to shoot it without Curly because we obviously can't stop production.
Right. It's just not, it's grind culture.
Cohn won't let us. Harry Cohn won't let us. Grind.
Yeah.
With respect, I guess.
I mean, like you said, Mo runs a tight ship.
Yeah. So I guess they took
time for your stroke, Curly.
There's no time for the stroke, boy. After filming was over, Mo... By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Mo and Curly are like literal brothers.
Yeah, you didn't. I was kind of curious because, like, so he had another brother, too, that came into play later.
Yeah. Larry was not one of the Howard brothers.
Okay.
But Mo and Curly and Shemp were all literal brothers.
They could have actually just had all three be brothers.
In the Three Stooges, I believe they were, but I don't remember.
No, but I'm saying, like, if Shep is also their brother,
right?
Why did they bring in this Larry fella?
He's just that good.
You're just part of the troop, baby.
Yeah.
Like, that had to clearly... That caused tension within the family, no?
No. Shemp wanted to go do his own shit for a while.
I bet he didn't want to.
No, he did. He was not fired.
I bet there was an issue.
He left before they got big.
Family gatherings, Christmas, Thanksgiving.
Maybe after they got big.
Yeah.
He was probably really salty.
I think Shemp was just the Damon Wayans.
Yeah.
You know? Doing his own thing.
I don't get it.
So anyway, they kept filming, finished the scene, and then Mo went to whatever hospital his like half-dead brother had been taken to. But of course, finished filming first.
Right.
Real
get
pro.
the scenes, yeah.
Harry Cohn wouldn't let him do anything else.
Real professional.
We only have so much studio time.
And then 2 months after that stroke, his divorce was finalized.
Perfect.
Curly was never able to work again. He made like 1 or 2 cameos, but that was it. Did not really ever work again.
He made a cameo?
He came back to set, and they were like, "Oh, we should just have you in."
Fuck off.
Yeah. Well, he did recover a little.
What if he only talked in that?
Well, at the end of his life, he was unable to communicate after several more strokes.
Oh, God, he had more?
He had the Lennon.
He had almost as many strokes as films.
He had more strokes than wives?
No way.
He definitely had more strokes than wives.
He had hundreds of strokes.
I mean, he
Just
had
little mini strokes.
You are more prone to them once you start having them.
Yeah, after the first one,
He survived more than like 3.
I don't know how he
tank,
survived
bro.
this one in the fucking 40s. He did, however,
It'll make them like they used to.
They don't.
despite not being able to work full time, he did, however, get married again.
Of course. Someone married him, is what I'm saying. Like,
This time to the only woman that ever loved him,
aw.
Because he's in a vegetative state.
Valerie Newman in 1947, and
High school sweetheart?
just some woman, and they actually fell in love, and they had a kid.
Whoa.
They milked the vegetable?
They had a daughter in 1948.
That's cool.
Little silver line.
There's a
I suppose.
hotline question about like what famous person would you like from history would you like to see the sex tape of?
This one, the one that made this
rock-
daughter.
Out of morbid curiosity, yes.
Okay.
It's up there.
Well, he did. I mean, look, it's not. He wasn't just. I mean, he was in a wheelchair for a while, but he did recover a little bit. It
Also,
wasn't.
imagine his first wife loved him. He wasn't big yet.
He wasn't big yet, but they did get divorced. And look, it should be noted, like during his retirement and all the post-stroke stuff, for a while there was a little bit of time with Valerie where he lived a nice little life with his daughter and they had a pool in their nice house and stuff like that. But unfortunately, he kept smoking cigars. The strokes kept coming.
It sounds. I don't know how. How do you just keep doing all the things with
Only
all
half
these
his
strokes?
body works.
Yeah. Eventually, he became like too. They couldn't even keep him in a nursing home anymore because he was so gone. But like, I don't know, was combative with the nurses and stuff like that. Finally, in 1952, he died at the age of 48.
What did he die of?
Jeez, his brain probably melted out of his ears, dude. Like, what do you mean?
What'd he
What did
die
he die of? His brain was goop.
Car accident.
No, for real?
He was driving.
He was how the fuck was
No,
he?
I'm kidding.
Okay.
No, he just he just completely deteriorated.
Okay,
He
yeah.
left
He'd had like his 100th stroke.
Yeah, once you hit the triple digits, yeah, it's rough. I kind of want to make a really sad movie about this.
Right?
Like, I'm already thinking of what the track is, like the trailer track. I'm thinking like my body is a cage.
I was thinking of something horrific the entire time when you kind of
But I get why he's saying it's like there's a fate worse than death. It's because your body literally is, in this instance, you're fucking prison.
For the last while of his life, he could not communicate beyond squeezing Mo's hand.
Yeah.
At one point, he started crying because he couldn't say anything or communicate.
Yet he's still boned.
This was after that.
He's still boned.
He got to the point where he couldn't speak, couldn't do anything. And I mean, so in 1952, he was 48, right? So in 1932, he was 28. So I mean, his stroke started like in his mid 30s, late 20, something like that. No, late mid 30s.
That's so rough, man. Like, that's so brutal.
And a huge part of it was essentially fame played a big part, but essentially a very big part of it was their just like absolutely brutal work schedule.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely part of it for sure. I think when you're doing 7 shows, fuck you.
Come on, dude. Fucking.
It's fine. It's just
There we go.
cricket. It's just a. God damn, we're fighting crickets. Like they're literally
I'm
flying
literally
at us.
throwing fists at crickets.
Jake's throwing hands.
God
Dude,
damn
they keep
insane.
coming.
Yeah, that one that like hovered right in front of us. Like, try me.
They're mocking
God
us.
damn insane.
Anyway, 7 days in a row, tons of shows. You're working 12-hour days. Like,
And when they're not filming, they're doing live shows.
I don't know.
Live
I don't know how
shows.
people do this kind of work just in general. Because like, I don't know. You talk to people that have it worse off job wise, right? Like where they're like doing hard labor, 12, 13 hours a day, and they just never quit. And you're like, dude, I think I'd just be okay being hungry for a little bit. Like, I couldn't do that.
I mean, I can't speak for people who do like construction and stuff like that, but at least there's something like, I don't know, you're doing physical labor, so maybe to an extent you're like
Healthier.
well, you're healthier
Out in the sun.
and also like you're not.
Get the vitamin D. Have a little energy.
Yeah, you can go to the end. You can go home at the end of the day, be like
You leave
kind of
your work at the
happily
door.
exhausted, whereas he was like. Doing physical work because he was getting smashed in the fucking face all the time.
And there's no rule book or like instructions.
But
on how to
there's
do what he's
also
doing.
just like
Yeah.
the mental stress of always having to think of like new jokes and then the
And then
fame.
Yeah, when you're out and about, you have to be on. Somebody
Right.
needs
No
you.
construction worker has to be on when they leave the construction site.
Hey, Jim, do the jackhammer thing.
Yeah. Not that being a comedian's harder than being a fucking physical laborer, but in terms of this person's particular mental stress.
I think you see it a lot.
Be like,
too.
okay, I guess I'll cackle.
You know,
Fine.
it's crazy too. We love it when
Do
he
the
does.
one where you say, "Hey, nice titties."
I just don't have the heart to do it.
Yeah, man, I'm not in it.
Come on, I'm not on the clock. I don't even know you. I'm not on the clock. Come on.
Yeah. I can't even imagine. Like, I think that also does kind of speak to like the way celebrities are treated here, especially, and maybe worldwide. I'm not sure, but like, people see people on a screen, and they think they have a personal relationship with them because
Yeah.
they've affected their lives and emotions in a certain way, right? So like, it's got to be worse now with like the ability to DM a celebrity and like the access
too
that
much.
people get.
It's too much. I also think daily content is deeply unhealthy. You should not be creating.
No.
You can do the same act over and over again for new audiences and stuff, like stand-ups do from town to town and stuff like that.
Nightly,
But like,
yeah.
you should
Because
not.
at least you're perfecting something.
Right,
You're
like-
tweaking
tweaking,
things
yeah.
out.
Dude, it is not fucking healthy to try to be
I can't
like,
imagine. Yeah.
funny or whatever every day.
Yeah, we used to do that.
It's hard and it
Fucking
sucks.
sucked.
you're hitting your well, the bottom of it, once a week.
Like writing
Twice a week.
3 times a day for every day for 4 years, not fun.
It's not. It does not bring out the best.
Be
Does not bring out the
funny.
creativity.
No, and then people are like, well, long form content's dead, so we need quick bits.
Long form content. It's funny too that that's the case because long form content shouldn't be dead because there's more talent than ever. So you should just have more long form content than ever, and all these people should just not have to be making.
Yeah, no,
Which is not to like avoid work or
best
whatever, but it's
things-
just like
Yeah, the best things I've read are long form.
right.
Still,
the
you
best
know.
pieces of art are long form. It's not
They
a fucking TikTok.
They take time. Yeah, but I mean,
Not to say that there aren't memes that make you chef kiss, but whatever. What'd you guys learn today?
I'm sad. I learned that this poor man just had his life ruined by fame and working conditions, I guess.
Had his life made and ruined.
Yeah,
I learned that Curly was the fatso.
you did learn that. Hitler is Harry Cohn.
Well, yeah, we haven't really learned what he did, but just from what you alluded to, I
Yeah.
would imagine he's Hitler.
Even what he did to them.
Yeah, just in general.
Low bottom. That's showbiz, baby.
That's the business. That's
If
the
you don't think that's
industry.
happening now all the time, you're out of
It's
your mind.
constantly happening.
Especially with like sponsorships, even podcasting.
Everything.
I mean, everywhere I've worked, and even this job included, when everyone gets stress from stuff, right? There's a constant reminder for myself where it's like, I'm not saving lives. Like, this isn't going to ruin anything. Right. If I fuck up. Or
No
like,
one will remember you.
Yeah. And speaking of that, we have a brand new shirt out
We do.
right now. If you go to softcorehistory.com, you can get the No One Will Remember You shirt.
Pop a little photo up on the on the YouTube.
So t-shirt right here.
Yeah.
Order yours today.
Yeah.
We also have a few more designs in the.
In the
hopper.
chamby.
They're
Yeah.
coming, but no one will remember you. It's the most important thing you could ever learn.
Yeah. So when you're stressing out about work, just remember, don't, because no one else will.
No.
Yeah.
I was actually, while researching this today, I do this all the time, and it's really like reassuring or whatever. At Harry Cohn's funeral, the comedic voice, whatever, comedian, Red Skellington, I think his name is, said, well, like
It's a fake name.
it might have been a stage name.
Red Skellington.
I certainly hope it is a stage name.
He was eulogizing Harry Cohn, and like everyone from Hollywood was there, and Red Skellington, I guess, was a huge comedian at the time, and for a long time too, had like a very popular radio show from like the 30s to the early 90s, and I was just like, never heard of this guy. He was probably huge. There were probably people who were like, that is my guy, that is my sense of humor, that is everything. The same way you might think of, the way I would think of like Trey Parker and Matt Stone, or like Tina Fey with 30 Rock. People like probably saw him and were like, that's me, that's my voice, that I identify with this person. And I was like, I don't know who the fuck this is.
Charlie Chaplin got his whole look swagger jacked by a genocidal maniac.
But I see what you're saying, where it's like there's someone that was probably super there's plenty of influential people for their time that they're not remembered.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And he was not as big as Curly and the Three Stooges, who are still remembered fairly well to this day. But like, give it another 50 years for the Three Stooges, not 100 years for the Three Stooges.
It's incredibly difficult to have a lasting impact in anything you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one, remember, you should just relax a little bit.
Just take a
Just live
breather.
your life.
You ain't Napoleon.
Yeah. Have a beer.
And by the way, give Napoleon 3,000 years, see if anyone gives a shit about him.
Yeah.
3,000 years on a geologic scale?
Give Napoleon 200 years.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's all I got for today. For Jake Goldman and Dan, we already read the reviews, right?
We did.
For Dan Jester and Jake Goldman, I am Rob Fox, and for all the crickets in the studio as well.
You just got soft served.